Where did this filth come from? Answer me! Answer me!
Something I eat. Bad chop suey. So long.
Take it easy.
The lousy bastard was in there killing her! Bastard! Bastard!
For this episode, I wanted to open up, a little lighthearted, maybe get to know you kind of question. So, if there was a murderer around, and he was taking pieces from each victim to reconstruct his dead mother, and say he were to kill you, what is your best feature do you think he would take?
I have a giant ass head, so I think he would just take my skull.
Yeah.
Or, take all the skin and brains out of it.
Just the skull.
Yeah, just the skull. So I feel like it's a medical marvel.
He would literally shave your face off your skull.
Yes, while I'm alive. So I'm screaming and my face is gone.
And he's just peeling it off.
Yes, like a skins of potato.
Now I'm picturing someone getting a potato peeler to their face, and I don't like it.
That's gross.
Did I ever tell you this may be one of the most heinous things I've ever seen in the movie Tumbling Dolls of Flesh. There's a part where they take the woman's tongue and they take like a razor to it, not like a razor you cut with, but like a razor like you shave with, and they're just like scraping her tongue over and over with it.
Ugh, that sounds brutal.
Yeah, and like the thing, like the movies, it's not that like well done, but it's like just so like graphic enough. Like you clearly, when you're watching it, that's like fake, like it's a prosthetic tongue, but it's just the act of it and the sounds of it are just so like that it's like hard to watch, even though your brain fully knows it's fake. So I wouldn't recommend it.
Is it a bad movie?
No, I mean, when we watched it, we realized like 45 minutes in, we're like, are we just watching porn together? We were watching porn together, basically. And then when like the horror stuff started, we were like, okay, but like the first 45 minutes, it's just like amateur porn.
Nice.
So
kind of
that
like
was fun.
This movie.
This movie? You think this is pornographic?
I mean, there was a lot of glorification of women and their female form.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the 80s would be like, this movie is basically pornography. If you want some good entertainment, look up like just news footage of people like just on the street reviewing like movies that came out in like the 70s and 80s. Like I remember there was one for like Maniac, and like they're like this news reporter's like on the street of people literally coming out of the theater from seeing Maniac, and they're like, what did you think? And like these people are like, oh my gosh, it was the most evil thing I've ever seen. That is against God. This film should not be shown anywhere. And there was one that was really funny because like it was like a couple, and like she goes to the woman and she's just like, oh, like what do you think? And the woman's just like, oh, it was a complete like degradation of like the female body and all that. And she goes to the man, she's like, what do you think? He's like, I thought it was pretty cool. I like when he shot that guy.
That's really funny.
Well, welcome to the Guts and Ghouls podcast. I'm Dax.
And I'm Brad.
And today we watched a film that I picked out, kind of, because I love this movie and I love this genre. And it is Pieces, the 1982 film by, I'm going to butcher this, Juan Piquer Simón. Who has done another great film of mine, which Brad, you disagree, Slugs, another opus.
Oh, he did that one?
Yeah, he did Slugs.
Oh my God. I need to watch Slugs eventually. I want to watch Slugs.
You want to watch Slugs? All like what? The last 2 years I've spent telling you to watch Slugs? I don't watch Slugs. Slugs is stupid. I'm like, watch Slugs.
I watched that dinner scene and then I thought that was enough. So I'm like, it's fine.
Well, Well, I'm curious because I'm a veteran of the giallo subgenre, and I'm very curious what you thought of Pieces. Because I know you typically don't watch these kind of movies
No.
of your own free will.
Yeah.
So,
No.
what did you think of Pieces?
I thought it was okay.
I'll take it. I expected you to hate it.
No, yeah, it was okay. I think my problem was I was bored for most of it because there
See,
isn't much suspense like at all, and most of it is just people in rooms talking.
that is that is a lot of giallos. And I give this one credit because this one I feel like they know why you're here. They know you want to see people get chopped up with a chainsaw, and there
want
is
to see boobs too.
yeah, it's literally like chainsaw, boobs talking, chainsaw, boobs talking. Sometimes chainsaw, boobs talking. Where like some like giallos, like more of like kind of the lesser known ones, it's like talking, kill, talking, sex, talking, kill. Like there's a lot more talking.
Mm-hmm.
But what I appreciate about Pieces so much is about how weird it is.
Yeah, some of the dialogue was really strange.
It makes a lot of decisions that I don't understand how they were made. And I think that adds to the experience. But before we go into that Summa Bizarreless, I kind of want to go over giallos in general. Typically they're Italian, but this is a Spanish director. And they're basically giallo. I don't know what the exact definition is, but it's like murder mystery. It's like an Italian murder mystery. So there's always kind of like a killer you don't see. They typically just use like hands, as you've seen, or like silhouettes. So you never really see the killer's always, that's the big reveal at the end. And there's always kind of like this cast of weird characters, almost like a whodunit kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you always have, there's always like some police officer. There's always some woman that you always see naked get tied into the mix. There's always lots of sex, lots of boobs. There's always like a solid kill right in the intro. And there's always bright red blood. It's always super gory. And one of my favorites are the music stings they always do. Like whenever something happens, like a knife gets like plunged, there's always like or like some noise.
Yeah.
Someone's like shredding on the guitar or something. It's cool. And the soundtrack's always bop. And finally, they're always dubbed.
Yeah.
Because in Italian giallos, essentially they just get actors from multiple different backgrounds. So you will have a scene with an American actor, an Italian actor, and a Spanish actor. All of them speaking in their native tongue.
Oh.
So, and later in post, they just dub over the movie for the say they're like putting this movie out in America. So they'll do the English. That guy won't be dubbed, but everyone else will with the American like voice actors.
Yeah.
And they'll do the same for each language. So that's where you kind of get this jarring, and like you can tell a lot of the scenes there's like a disconnect.
Yeah.
Where like sometimes someone will like say something and like the other person doesn't really react that way, like how you think, or the dialogue's really clunky. That's why. And it's kind of turned almost into like a style choice, I feel, where when you see a giallo, you're like, okay, here's the weird dubs. But
so what are you saying
yeah.
that like basically like when they film it, they record it in whatever the native language is?
That's so you will have a scene. So there's 4 characters. All of them will be speaking a different language in that scene.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. They do that for a lot. Even really like Suspiria, weird. They do that.
I can guess which characters probably were speaking English.
Yeah, that you can tell.
Because those ones were the ones that their lips matched their voice the most.
Right. Yeah, and let me tell you, they do not try to match anything.
It doesn't seem like it, no.
And you know when it's like a voice actor too, because they talk like this. Yeah.
And I'm gonna assume it's most of the time the voice actors are not even the same people who are on screen.
Absolutely
they just
not.
get whoever they can.
It's probably just like 2 people that just voice every character.
That's rough.
That's just how it was done back then. But what Pieces, and this is my main gripe with Pieces, is that it lacks kind of the style and aesthetic choices of other giallos. Because giallos typically, it's a lot of style over substance. Like the plots are usually very straightforward. The characters are always very shallow. But you're seeing it usually for like the neon lights and the crazy camera work and stuff like that. And I feel like Pieces doesn't exactly have that.
No.
It's much more bare bones than that.
Yeah,
which is, I think, where you may think it's a bit more boring.
That's what I felt too. I felt like the camera work was not interesting at all.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you watch like an Argento or Fauci or a Baba, and it's just like they're doing crazy like experimental stuff.
You're talking about Anthony Fauci of the CDC?
Yeah, I'm talking about Anthony Fauci.
He made an Italian giallo film in his youth.
Yeah, it's about a virus that the killer infects in people. He just wants them to wear a mask. He's like, wear the mask, it'll stop the virus from eating you.
And then when they say no, he's like, God damn it, I'm gonna have to kill you now.
Guess I'm gonna have to kill you. I'll kill you before the virus will. Except he's speaking like in Italian, so he's just like, I will kill you before the virus will.
Oh my god. I would love to see an Anthony Fauci horror film.
Horror film? Well, I'm pretty sure most people on the right would probably make that.
Yeah, because doesn't Ben Shapiro have his own like movie production company now?
I know he reviews movies, and I know they're all terrible. This is okay. I genuinely want. I've been meaning to bring this up to you because I want to see how much you hate this idea. But I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it while we record because I think this is really funny. I want to do an episode on Christian horror movies.
Are those even a thing?
I don't know, and I want to find out, and I want to watch some because there's like Christian dramas, Christian comedies. You know, there's even like kind of Christian-y action movies. I mean, look at any Mel Gibson movie, but like, I want a Christian horror movie.
There should be one.
There's gotta be, and you know, it's probably like, oh, the ghosts of all the atheists came together, and they're trying to haunt this church. But we gotta pray to God, because that's literally every Christian movie is like, they present a problem, and then like it follows like Act 1 and 2, and you know, Act 2 they're at like their lowest point, and Act 3 is always like, why don't we just pray? And then they do, and then whatever problems they have just go away.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, cool. I didn't see that one coming.
My favorite thing is when, like in that movie God's Not Dead, the Kevin Sorbo character who's like an atheist professor.
Oh yeah.
At the end, he gets like hit by a car,
and they're all clapping.
And his whole life, he's been an asshole, and he's like, I hate Christians. They're all scum. They all believe in a made-up God. And then at the end, he just prays. And he prays to God, and at the end of it, right before he dies, and then he's fine. He can go to heaven, despite everything he's done. He's
like dead on the ground, and they're all just standing over him, and they're like, this is awesome. And then they just go and drink, and it cuts to them just having a grand time.
Yeah, the death of the atheist is framed as a good thing.
Yeah, that is one of the most offensive movies I've ever seen.
It's pretty bad.
But okay, now that we're put on a lot of lists, let's move on to
put on a lot of lists? What the fuck are you talking about?
You know, like probably the Pope is after us now.
That's true. Even the Pope, I think he's mellowed out. I mean, he's pro-gay.
This one's pretty chill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, gay people go to heaven. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? I understand.
Shout out to Pope Francis.
He's undoubtedly listening to this because we're exploding in popularity with every episode we release.
The Pope's there, like he's in the Pope mobile, and he's like, I can't drive without listening to the Guts and Ghouls podcast. I wonder what funny movie they're going to be watching this week. I sure do hope Shudder sponsors them soon.
Is that why we're watching all of these horrible Shudder movies because they're just trying to get sponsorship from them?
Don't say that. We can't use horrible and Shudder in the same sentence. It adds to the algorithm. These great Shudder movies. I love Shudder. Shudder, I love you. Okay, moving on. So I also let's talk the plot of Pieces for those that don't know. Pieces is essentially about a young man who kills his mother with an axe, chops her up, and then years later kills again with a chainsaw and is chopping up women to recreate his dead mother. Hence, Pieces.
It's exactly what you think it is. Tagline of the poster.
Yeah, I do like the tagline where it's just like, you don't need to be in Texas for a chainsaw massacre. I'm like,
oh god,
fuck yeah!
Don't mention Texas and chainsaw in the same sentence.
Oh yeah,
that turns me off.
I forgot. You get all sour.
I'm a little sour. If I ever see Leatherface again, I'm gonna want to jump off a building.
But so like right off the bat, we have our killer kid, and this is like a decent setup. He's like, you know, playing. Like, he's got, like, this pornographic puzzle, and the mom comes in. It's just like, oh, like, this is disgusting. Like, very, like, self-righteous. Something very common in serial killers. Like, overly religious parents. She mentions, like, the dad is, like, either the dad is gone or a degenerate or is an abuser. Basically, not good dad.
Yeah.
And this kid's already playing with, like, a nude puzzle. And what, he's probably, like, 8, 9 or so.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and then after killing her, he just like acts like it's nothing and just continues this puzzle like nobody's business. So he's clearly like a sociopath. So we've got like the perfect like serial killer stew right here. Which is nice. It's a bit more grounded than most giallos. They're just like, oh, Knife Man's killing people because he's Knife Man. So that's cool. I appreciate good serial killer backgrounds.
Sure. And I want to call this. It was bare bones. It was exactly what they needed and nothing more.
Exactly. And believe me, most giallos don't even do that. So.
Oh God.
But I mean, I think the intro is really good. You get gore right away. You kind of get like set up for like I like when these horror movies show their hand right away. Be like, this is the level of gore you're getting in the intro, so you know it's going to increase throughout.
Mm-hmm.
And I read that they actually use real animal guts for all the scenes, so that's why like the gore looks like a bit more realistic.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering how they did some of it because it looked really grody. A lot of it was like,
yeah, like
that
when
looks like real.
In like the bathroom scene when he cuts that woman in half, like when she's alive, that was like they just cut to like a pig, corpse and just cut through it.
Ugh.
So
that makes sense. Yeah, that one made me legitimately queasy. I was like, oh God.
Yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I forgot. I mean, I saw this movie like a couple years ago, back when I like first like found out about giallos and was just like go binging through them. But I don't remember the gore being as like good as what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about some of the weird stuff now.
Okay.
One of my favorite things. I don't know if this goes with the dubbing or if this was written in the dialogue, but there's so many just bizarre sentences. And I find this very common in giallos, and they're always delivered really awkwardly. Like like one that stuck out to me was like, it was like in the beginning when like they're talking about the university got a waterbed. Why? First of all, why does the school need a waterbed? And one of the girls just goes, "The most beautiful thing in the world is smoking pot and fucking on a waterbed."
Hell yeah.
Or another one that I thought was really funny was like the cop like was calling like someone to get information, and the guy gave him the information. He says, "Thanks, I'll send you a case of lollipops." And I was like, "What the fuck? I've never heard that before." "I'll send you a case of lollipops."
Yeah, I don't get that. I guess it's because he's young. He's like, you're a young whippersnapper. You like
yeah,
lollipops.
maybe, but he was over the phone, so we don't know that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I don't get that at all.
Or another great one is when the woman's just yelling, "Bastard! Bastard!"
Oh, yeah,
and she's just going crazy.
She loves it.
We need to talk. Okay, we need to talk about the pro tennis police secretary undercover as a school tennis player character.
Is that what was happening?
That's what was happening. So this character, so the police are at a loss from what minimal police work they're doing. And they're like, we need to send a woman undercover to bait out the killer. So let's go to one of the secretaries at the police station who was a pro tennis player to voluntarily go to this school and be bait for a killer, and she can be the tennis teacher. First of all, I don't think it's safe to just hire a secretary to go undercover.
Yeah.
I feel like you need a lot of experience for that.
Yeah.
Especially just to use her as bait. And then they're like, "We're not going to assign anyone to protect you or show you how to defend yourself. We're going to give you this 19-year-old kid to just kind of watch after you." Who is not a cop or any authority in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, well, that was my question. Why the hell are they trusting this kid so much? He's just some random kid.
The only line they give you is why like the kid's around is they're just like, "He knows everyone at school."
They don't even try.
But that kid fucks.
Oh
that
yeah,
kid
every
is
girl wants to have
literally
sex with this kid.
Fucking everyone. And I don't understand why, because he looks like a little boy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and his hair is bad too.
He looks like Timothée Chalamet if like he didn't have any defined facial features and had rosy cheeks. It's almost like they made him look like a little boy.
Yeah, his hair was like a little kiddish, and he dressed like a little kid. It seemed like like the blue coat on. It was like, I don't know.
The nerdy friend is a highlight for me, where he just is kind of like really sad all the time for some reason.
Oh yeah,
and he's always just like, "Man, Kendall, you're fucking all these broads."
Yeah, can I watch?
Yeah, he's just like, he's like, "I'm gonna kill myself." He says something like that for some reason.
The poor guy. He was the most relatable character in this movie.
Yeah, and the cops are like, "Do you know anything?" He's like, "I don't know anything."
No, please. I just want to watch my friend have sex with all these pretty ladies.
He really liked his friend having sex with all these women.
Yeah, he was overly interested, if you ask me. Something's fishy going on there.
Bit too much. Definitely like a Norman Bates, like the dorm room. He like drilled a hole through. He's watching. And he has that like weird like ghoul mask.
Oh, you can make a Pieces 2 about that. Or he's the next killer.
Pieces 2.
He's a copycat killer. It'll be a late sequel.
And he's trying to get Kendall's attention. And then that's when, oh my god. Okay, the movie is getting written in front of me, okay? Here's the trailer. Here's the trailer. You know, ooh, what's a good song? What's like a good like dad rock song? Let's see.
Do a Foo Fighter song.
Oh, okay.
My Hero.
Yeah, so you have that play, but like on a piano, really slow. So it's like ding, and then like the we see like from black we see the puzzle, then the next key, ding, and then you just see like the chainsaw. It's like, dun, and then and then it's like a woman like getting like butchered. And then like the police, like that's when like the music starts picking up, but it's still soft, it's a soft like version of the song piano. It opens up and you see like the women, all like the different pieces of women, and then you see from the ground you see Boots step in. You're like, who's this character? And it pans up and he's got that weird like light blue cardigan. And then you see that baby face and he's like, it's a message for me. And it's like pieces 2.
Is he the Luke Skywalker of this legacy sequel?
He is.
Nice.
And then he just like takes one of the women's arms, looks at it, and he's like, and just tosses it over his shoulder. Fans get mad.
Oh, they just love it.
But let's talk about one of my favorite scenes. It's the ninja scene.
This is the most what the fuck scene of all time.
Well, I have answers for you.
Okay.
So in this scene, our for some reason ex-tennis player who is now an undercover cop is just out at night with a flashlight looking around for some reason.
Yeah, for no reason at all.
And it's kind of like building up, and we know like the killer's in the bushes. And she turns a corner, and out of nowhere, like a Bruce Lee type man jumps out and just starts kicking and fighting her.
Yeah.
and then Kendall pulls up, and this woman also kicks him in the balls, so he goes down. Kendall pulls up, and he's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" She's like, "This man, he's trying to attack me. It's the killer." And he's like, "That's not a killer. That's my karate professor." And this Asian man gets up and does probably the most stereotypical like Asian accent I've ever heard.
Yeah, that was definitely not an Asian person dubbing him.
It was definitely written by a white person. He's like, I jump out and fight. I fall down. I don't know what happened. Probably bad chop suey. Bye.
Oh my god. And
just leaves. And then the movie just goes on as if that was normal. Well, don't worry, because I have context for you,
okay.
which will probably make the scene even more funny. And what the fuck? Why? Was basically the producer was working on a kung fu movie at the same time and was working with this guy who is a Bruce Lee imitator named Bruce Lee.
Nice.
So instead of Lee, it's just Le. So they thought, why don't we put this man in our serial killer horror movie?
Because why not? We have him, so why not put him in?
I don't know. I think it's a good addition. I think it adds a lot to the story. I think it's integral to the film itself.
If you take that out, the whole film falls apart. That's like the linchpin holding everything together, is that scene.
Oh, yeah. It's that scene. Without it, it just crumbles.
I think they should have made that guy the killer.
Yeah. This one, at the very end, he comes out.
Yeah, like
That'd
the guy
awesome.
who actually is the killer is like, there's a fake out. And then at the end they reveal it's really this guy and he got away with it.
And it turns out he actually got his face altered to look Chinese.
Oh my
God. Because it was a white boy in the beginning. Really, the audiences would have never expected it.
Yeah, that would have been really unexpected. Dude.
So
then they could set it up for sequels because the killer's still out there. And he's this Asian guy, this race stereotypical.
Who knows karate?
Asian guy.
All right, hang on.
Karate.
Hang on. This actually sounds awesome. It's coming to me now. A serial killer movie where the killer knows martial arts.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. Just imagine the cops being like, "We got him," and then he's just like, "Boom, boom, 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 boom," and they just can't get him.
Oh,
because he knows
cool.
martial arts.
He could be like, he's like Jason, but like he just knows martial arts. He's like a zombie person.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak, but will like just karate chop people.
All right, now that you're talking, I realize that this movie's fucking dumb. But
what movie?
I still back this movie we're making, this Karate Jason movie.
Oh no, this is awesome. What are you talking about?
I don't believe your voice. No, yeah, this is awesome. This is a good idea.
It's like Maniac Cop. It'll be in the Maniac series, because you know how is the first Maniac, then the sequel Maniac Cop, and then they made like a bunch of spin-offs, Maniac Cop 2, 3. This is Maniac Ninja.
Maniac Ninja.
Yeah, and he's like a zombie who like knows karate,
and he fights Samurai Cop.
Oh, that'd be so cool. We could get him to come back.
And they're in the multiverse of madness.
The MCU's multiverse of madness. Little do we know, Marvel already thought of this, and it's gonna be in Doctor Strange 2. Sam Raimi's a genius. He steals from us before we even think of it.
Yeah, Sam Raimi contacts us. So something that's always also funny about these giallos is they're always set somewhere. Sometimes they're like in America, but they're never actually shot there, and they always do funny things to like overcompensate. Like this film was shot in Madrid, and they say lines like, "Oh, here in New England," and it's funny because in the police station, there's just this awkward picture of like Ronald Reagan just there.
I was wondering why the fuck that was there.
And I just think that's really funny. You're like, oh,
it was they rented out that place to film, and it was just there, and they didn't bother to change anything about it.
No, I think the opposite. I think they put it there.
What?
Because they shot it in Madrid, and they want it to look like America. So they're like, what's more America than putting your president's face on there?
Was Reagan president at the time?
Yeah, it was like the 80s.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah, and then he let all the serial killers loose from the asylums. And they killed a bunch of people. That's not a joke, look it up. But and then also in this scene, we have the great Wendy's sponsorship. They're just clearly eating Wendy's. And like the kid even has his cup like facing, like the Wendy's like logo is facing the camera, which I'm not sure why.
Oh, yeah. It was definitely a sponsorship.
I don't know. I don't think Wendy's would want to be participated in a movie about a man who chops up women.
Hey, well, you never know. This back then, brands were not as conscious about their brand.
Brands were braver.
Like, any press is good press. You know, just put it in there.
After like he like constructs, like he gets all his pieces for the mother. It turns out he's actually just making Wendy, and she has like the pigtails.
Oh God!
And she gets up. She's like, "Come to Wendy's."
I thought you were gonna say that's how they make their meat. Is that he takes pieces from people and grinds it up?
Yeah,
and freezes it.
No, that's for pieces too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The sequel that we're making where the this Asian karate character is the killer.
And the nerd who masturbates to Kendall. He just wants to see Kendall
both fuck. The killer?
Yeah, dual killer. You think it's one. It's like Scream. You think it's one.
Only this time, like the killers aren't working together. Like
no,
they don't even know that like each other is like also killing people. They find it at the end. They're like, oh, hey, you're like, killing people?
Yeah. They go to finally like kill Kendall, and they both go out at the same time, and they're like, what? You're the one that's been doing the killing? He's like, and you're the one doing the killing? They're like, oh, man.
Oh. And they got an epic serial killer fight as well.
Yeah. They have to fight over who gets to kill Kendall.
Yeah.
And then meanwhile, Kendall just kind of slips out and goes fucks 3 women while they're doing it.
and the dork guy is still praising him. He's like, "Damn, Kendall, you're so cool."
Yeah,
Fuck.
after he just got like his head cut off. Like, damn, Kendall, I wish I could fuck like you.
And now I can just fuck you. And then he has his way with him.
Yeah, that's awesome. The studio would totally back this movie. All right. Before we get into the spoiler territory, because the ending is another thing that's absolutely incredible, and we'll save that for the very end. But the ending is what has always stuck with me about this film, and I think you know what I'm talking about.
Is it about the ball grab?
Oh, I said we weren't going to spoil it, but yes, the testicle grab. But so we'll get into spoilers now here. So if you haven't seen Pieces, or turn it off and come back, or if you don't care, that's also probably just as justified. So let's get into it. So it starts with, as I said, the boy is putting together a pornographic puzzle. Mom comes in. She's like, "Oh, this is disgusting and awful." And as she's throwing it away, the boy gets the axe and like hits her in the head with it, and then he chops her up. And then like the police show up, and like the kid plays dumb. He's like, "Oh, mommy, where are you, mommy?" And then it cuts to like what? It was like 40 years later or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. Which, now that I'm doing the math, the killer would have about 50. Oh no, I guess that looks right. Okay.
You looked about 50, I would say.
Yeah. So right away, we have another kill of a woman just on the lawn, and the killer just has a chainsaw and he's pretending to be the gardener, and then just cuts her head off and takes it just right away, just in the middle of the open. Let's see, and then that's when, like, I feel like that's when they kind of set up who the killer could be, because we're introduced to the gardener character, who is like the main police suspect. We have the anatomy professor, and I'm not exactly sure why he was a suspect, other than he like knew the student. But that's like his student, so that's like pretty justified.
Yeah.
But if you listen closely, and I got this on this rewatch, you know it's not him, because when the dean is telling the cops about him, he's like, "Oh, he's just a lonely man who lives with his mother." But we know that the killer killed his mom.
Oh,
so
shit.
It couldn't be the professor. And then we have the dean, who is a very shady man, who's your typical, like, "There's no murders going on here. Everything is fine as usual. You know, I like to make money." And then we have Kendall, our college student who everyone wants to fuck. And literally begs him for sex. Like that one woman. She's like, "Please, Kendall, come back. Oh no, where are you going? What are you doing?" And he's just like looking out the window, and she's like freaking out. It's also, this is something that throughout the movie, as he gets each piece, he puts that piece of the puzzle together, that same puzzle that he killed his mom over in the beginning. So he puts like the head on, and then like the next murder he'll put like the torso and then the arms and stuff. So it's
that
fun.
Makes sense. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. As he got the pieces, he was putting the pieces together.
Dude,
it's like the name of the movie.
It's exactly what you think it is.
Yeah. You're making me question what's wrong with me for loving these movies.
No, it was fine. It was fine.
And then we're introduced to our cops, who, for me, I think the main cop guy looked like Willem Dafoe and even sounded like him a bit.
Yeah, no, I could when I saw you put it in the outline, I was like, you know what, he was reminding me of somebody, and that's probably who I'm thinking of.
Even like mannerisms and stuff, but I mean, it definitely isn't. And you can tell he actually was like an American actor.
Yeah, because his dubbing lined up the most. Him and the old tennis player lady.
Yeah, I think they were American. I've seen her before and stuff.
Oh, really?
I couldn't picture it. And I looked up, I was really mad because I looked up what else she was in, and I was like, I couldn't find anything. I'm like, what the fuck? I know I've seen her before. Unless I just saw her in something so obscure.
Oh, you don't remember what it is?
Yeah, no. Or maybe I'm just thinking of the first time I watched Pieces. I am stupid, so that could be it.
This lady's she's a hot MILF, let me just say.
She's like the definition of like they couldn't get someone young, but they still got someone hot. If that makes sense.
Yeah, like they wanted a young person with it, like they could only get this lady.
Yeah, but they got a MILF. So they rolled with the MILF thing. Because even Kendall's
thought it was
like,
weird.
Damn, you're
like,
hot.
Yeah, they like had a thing with her and Kendall. And I was like, this feels like it should be between two young people, not like a 40-year-old lady and like a 20-year-old college kid.
Maybe they couldn't justify why a 18-year-old girl was working as a secretary and also an ex-pro tennis player.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe the director just had like a MILF thing going on. He's like, yeah, if I was a young guy,
a lot of fetishes
I'd
were
want a
in
MILF.
play when making these kind of movies. But our second murder takes place in the pool of a woman who wanted to fuck Kendall.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets chopped up, and I believe the killer takes the torso of her. And this part always makes me laugh because, like, when the cops come, like, the gardener is there for some reason, and no one says any words. The gardener just immediately starts punching and just, like, fighting everyone. Like, he's taking on, like, 4 dudes with weapons. and it's just so random.
Yeah, that was so weird.
I feel like the movie really tried. Whenever a movie makes you be like, this is definitely the killer, you know it's not the killer.
Yeah, especially in a movie like this, where the whole mystery is the killer thing.
Yeah, like, no, in the first 20 minutes we got the killer. So yeah, this is when the cops go, hey Kendall, we gotta team up. We need you to be the eyes and ears on the campus. And I'd like to point out, the cops literally don't do anything.
No.
They literally don't do anything. And anytime they talk to any of like the staff or the dean, they're like, we hit a brick wall. And it's like, you didn't ask anyone.
Yeah.
And literally
scene when that lady gets killed by the pool.
Mm-hmm.
And like they like see like I'm assuming it was the killer like by a doorway, and they like look and they see him, and the killer like moves away quickly, and they're just like, oh, I must have been seeing things. Like they don't even try to investigate. It's like they're just so incompetent. Like the whole movie.
How they find out about the killer is they do background checks on all of the staff, and it's like, shouldn't that be the first thing you do?
Oh yeah, I would think so.
Instead of just finding a young freshman and being like, hey, people, keep out an eye for a killer for us. Call us if you see anything. And they just fuck off. So this is when they get that pro tennis player secretary to go undercover. Kendall's got a little bit of a crush on her. Then we get an elevator kill. A woman is killed in like an elevator shaft. And it's pretty brutal. And this is the one where like her arm comedically like flies off. It just kind of goes whoop.
I like that part of it. There was definitely a fake arm.
Yeah, and you could just tell they have like one nozzle of like blood shooting out. It's good stuff. Then I think one of like the more memorable kills is the waterbed kill. Where this time, this is like the only one where he doesn't use a chainsaw. He uses a knife. It's like a pretty big knife too.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically chases this woman. She falls on a waterbed, and he like starts stabbing her, and then cuts open the waterbed. So she's like still on top, and like there's like the water's like turning all bloody, and it's pretty cool. It's like on slow mo. It's good stuff. That's why you're here.
That's,
you know?
that was the artsy kill of the film.
Yeah, that was real art piece. Like especially like when her boob fell out. Yeah.
You gotta have the boob fall out. That's what gets people to stick around.
One thing this does not have that all giallos have is white, tight, wet t-shirts.
Oh,
This was missing that.
That was a missed opportunity. You gotta do it to the old tennis player lady.
Yeah, I want to see that.
She's like playing tennis in the rain, and like Kendall's like watching her. You could picture the scene now.
And then the nerd is watching Kendall watch her. He's like, fuck yeah.
Now I really wish the killer was either the Asian karate guy or the nerd friend.
The nerd? No one would have saw it coming.
That would have been witty and interesting.
Yeah, then the next kill was like a woman playing tennis, and like the killer turns on this really loud marching band music that gets old very quickly.
Yeah, it's like a 10-second loop.
Yeah. And apparently it just deafens everyone in the area. And this is where the killer, he chases her into the bathroom and just straight up cuts her in half. And then when they find the body, it's pretty brutal because he takes her legs, so it's just like the top half of her and just sort of like guts and intestines hanging out. And then this is when we kind of come to the end of the movie where our undercover tennis player decides she, for some reason, wants to talk to the dean because she thinks it is the anatomy professor. So she goes to the dean and the dean's like apartment, which is on campus. And Dean's like, oh, can I make you coffee? And she's like, yeah, okay. And he goes in and he almost seems like when he's like assembling the coffee, he's doing it like very nervously. And this is when you realize like, oh yeah, he's the killer.
Yeah.
It like almost is like a Mr. Bean bit where like he's like putting it together and he's like trying to get like the poison in there. And then like the teapot goes off and she's asking him questions. And I don't know, it just reminds me of Mr. Bean. I want a movie where Mr. Bean is the killer.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It's just called Bean.
You could like market it as a typical Mr. Bean sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go in, there's like kills and murder, and then you find out that our lovable Mr. Bean is a serial killer.
And it's all to he's working his way up to his girlfriend. It always breaks up. He's like, "This is for you, Teddy."
Oh God.
Brr. Yeah, so
Teddy.
she's like tied up, and then like Mr. Bean pulls out Teddy, and he's got like a knife taped to his arm. And he's like,
does he have a teddy bear as a friend?
Oh my gosh, dude. You're talking to a Mr. Bean fan here, and you're like, oh, does Mr. Bean have a teddy bear? That's his best friend. It's Teddy.
Oh, okay.
Teddy goes with men everywhere. He has him in his little suit.
What a king.
Yeah, but he's like, wasn't me, it was Teddy. Oh.
Teddy's been controlling me this whole time.
He's like undressing her. He's like, oh, Teddy, why are you doing that? Yeah, so basically the dean drugs her. She's like in a paralysis state where she's awake, but she can't move her body. And he's just like, oh, I'm going to cut off your feet. But as this is going on, the police bust in, but he's able to hide. And then he jumps out at Kendall and tries to strangle him and then stab him. But then the police just come in and immediately open fire. That's how you know the movie's set in America.
It's if they just immediately open fire when they walk into
open the door and just bang.
It's very true. That happens a lot of way too much. And when he shoots him, it's like an exact headshot, like right in the middle of his head.
Yeah, right in the middle of the forehead, right above the eyes. Like if it was like a target dummy, that's where like the bullseye would be.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Yay, it's over! Cool, we got the killer." Also, I forgot to mention, the only reason they found out was because they finally did a background check, and they're like, "Hey, this guy changed his name, and his mother was chopped up with an axe. You think it could be this guy?" But as after the killer's dead, they cover the body, and they're like, "Let's search this place." Kendall, in a great scene, in a great moment, he accidentally pushes like a trap, almost like one of those like reverse doors, like the secret entrances, and that's where the body is, and it falls on him, and it's like this like woman who's like obviously has like stitches around like her appendages, and she's kind of like rotting too. Mm-hmm. She's got a bunch of like green schmutz all over her.
Yeah, and the head seems to be more rotted than everything else.
Well, that was the first kill, so
yeah, that makes sense.
And Kendall's like, "Ah!" and lets out like a really loud scream. And that's when you like think the movie's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, Kendall's like, "Calm down." And the police are like, "All right, let's go." And he stands over that corpse that just fell on him, just looking at it. He's like, "Hang on, I forgot my jacket." And he goes to grab the jacket, and the corpse's arm just reaches and grabs his testicles, pulls down, leaving like claw marks, and then just squeezes and they pop. And then the movie just ends. It's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that the corpse falling out of that secret thing, like passage behind the bookshelf, I thought that was going to be the what the fuck ending.
Yeah.
Like, or their version of it. But then that happened, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's weird as hell." I don't know why that's in it, but I liked it.
Yeah, it's all like giallos typically end with one last scare. Either like the killer's not dead or something crazy happens, and it never makes sense. And this one especially does not make any sense. It's like a zombie,
I guess.
And why it pops his nuts, I don't know.
It's because those were some of the body parts from the girls that he had sex with.
Oh my... Wait, that actually makes sense.
Yeah, so that they were like, "Oh my god, you fucked me and took my virginity, and now I'm dead, and now you get to be punished."
I thought it was going to be something like smarter, like, oh, it's like what he gets for being such like, for using his sexuality so loosely or something. But it's like, no. The body parts of the women he fucked remembered. Or maybe they just really want more. They're like, "Give me your penis, Kendall."
Oh yeah, and they're like dead. They're like decomposed and dead now, so they're not thinking clearly. So they're like, I'll smash his balls. That's what he wants.
You know what I would do in the remake, which I think was needed? When the balls get smashed, blood pops out, but also cum.
Oh yeah,
I want cum to just almost like a water balloon full of cum getting popped.
That would be disgusting. Oh,
what do you mean?
I don't want to think about blood and cum mixed together.
And pee, because pee is stored in the balls.
Oh, and then the head on the ground is just like basking in it. They're like, with the tongue out. They're just loving it.
It's like a money shot from a porno, and that's how it ends.
If you remade that, it'll be a shot-for-shot remake, even like with the bad dubbing and everything.
Yeah.
But then that's the only thing you change is at the end. It's like the ball smashing scene is like 10 minutes long, and it's like super gratuitous.
we slowed the ball smashing scene down by 10 times so you can really feel. You can see where all the strains of flesh tear apart. Right here. That glob of cum, that's my favorite. Look
and you add a part where she grabs the scrotum and eats it too.
Oh yeah,
and she's like,
she literally just like goes down on him. Just rah, 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 rah. The police are just horrified. They're so afraid that their testicles just pop.
And the cycle keeps going.
Yeah, it just keeps going.
More fluids to lap up.
Oh,
Nice.
that's vile.
We've come up with a lot of good movie ideas in this podcast.
Yeah, we do. We have our Christian horror movie, our remake with the ninja and the weird nerd boy, and then we have our cum popping one. We I'm telling you, Shudder. Give me money.
I feel like there has to be a Christian horror film, but I feel like the reason why there aren't very many is because Christians or conservatives in general probably don't like horror films because
They don't get it.
yeah, they're typically associated with violence and sleaze and like nudity. And
All
like,
you gotta do is just a possession movie.
That's true, actually. Yeah, they
You
could do
know,
a possession movie.
Oh, the devil's in this boy. Let's pray. Devil's out. Whew, thank you, God. I mean, I'm sure it won't be a good horror movie.
No, it's not going to be
It's
The
like-
Exorcist.
They're basically just going to be, what's the most boring horror movie we can make? And they'll do it. This is going to be my homework. I'm going to find some Christian horror movies.
You should. I'd be interested in watching that.
I'm just
if it
very
exists.
curious. I want to watch like 3 different ones so we could get like a range and kind of see what, like, any common themes, any common tropes. That'd be
You know,
cool.
you could argue that Jason Voorhees is a Christian.
Yeah. How come?
Because he goes, it's the age-old cliche that people have sex dead.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe he's doing it consciously. And that's what we don't know.
He's doing them a favor. He's sending them to heaven.
Right, yeah.
He's like, I'm stopping you from sinning. You're going to heaven.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put this axe through your skull. You're going to heaven. You can thank me later. Jason is really Jesus Christ.
That's why all
Yeah.
of the kids drowned him originally, because
Yeah.
like he was one of those kids who's like really indoctrinated into Christianity. He's always talking about God, and they're like, God, he's so fucking annoying.
Yeah. Let's just drown this kid.
Yeah, let's just drown him. He's ugly too. Yeah, well, the world is better off.
And then he comes back and he actually saves them. He's
Yeah.
the good guy.
He's the hero of the film. That's the thing.
All right.
If it was an actual Christian movie, he wouldn't be ugly. I feel like he would have to be like
He'd be
good
hot.
looking. Yeah, he'd be hot.
Christians love hot men. And they always look the same. It's always like a white dude, like clean cut hair. They've got like that thin kind of beard, you know? It's not like a full beard, but it's like a short kind of thin one.
Oh yeah.
They've always got some kind of like blue short sleeve shirt, you know, kind of like a sky blue, you know, khakis, no tattoos. Oh. They're always in a
Oh,
relationship with someone that probably just turned 18.
They're probably 18.
Probably
we don't have to check.
18.
We don't have to be precise.
They make a post on Facebook like, finally 18. Happy birthday to my girlfriend of 4 years. You're like, huh?
Oh God.
What? What was that? 4? What? Yeah, you do the math. And you're like, oh, okay.
You do the spit take. You're drinking
you-
water and you're like, what?
What? 4 years? That means
Oh
you're-
God.
you're not a Christian without hypocrisy. That's what I learned. So, well, thank you. I want to thank you, Brad, for watching Pieces. I know
no
this
problem.
is kind of a new world for you, and I hope as we go down this path with this podcast, you will appreciate these movies more, and I hope you can come back to Pieces with a bit more of a different look to it.
Yeah, because I feel like there are worse out there.
Oh, believe me, there are worse.
Like slugs.
No, take that back. Take that out of your whore mouth right now.
Maybe
When-
I genuinely do want to review slugs though.
Yes, we'll do Slugs. That'll be a special episode.
I feel like I'll enjoy that just for because the gore looked really good in it.
Here's the thing about these kind of movies is that they are exploitation movies, and you have to look at them very differently. Like, okay, you know how you can like watch your superhero movies and you kind of look at them in their own way and you're like, yeah, I mean, this one's like fine, like, but you recognize that it's not great.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's me with these.
Okay.
Where I go by vibes, you know?
You be vibing with it.
That's what I learned to do with all movies. I just go by vibes. And whether or not I just had a blast during it.
Yeah.
And stuff like Pieces, I just have a blast during. So
I respect that. I respect that.
That's my logic now. And I've been enjoying more movies since then. I'm like, who cares if there's a random Bruce Lee impersonator? That kicks ass. That's awesome. That's why I like Malignant so much.
Oh, Malignant. Maybe we should talk about that movie eventually.
Yeah, you will. It'll be me going on a monologue. James Wan is braver than any U.S. Marine for making Malignant.
Oh, God. He had to make Aquaman to get there, but it was worth it.
It was worth it. Now he's making some doll movie.
Is he really?
Yeah, it's called Megan. Not
I saw the poster
Drake
for that.
Josh Megan.
I didn't realize that was him.
It's
the poster for it's actually really creepy.
Yeah, it's like Annabelle, but if for like white women.
What?
I don't know, because she's all like proper and preppy, you know. Annabelle's like this gross little doll. Like Annabelle's like the emo kid at school, and then Megan is like the popular girl.
She's like a Bratz doll.
Yeah. That's it. Mm-hmm. Annabelle's the type of doll that your grandma has like 30 of in that guest room that you have to sleep in every time you go over.
That she puts on the bed and you have to awkwardly sleep next to.
Yeah, you have to always sleep next to it. Yeah. In the middle of the night, you're like, did it move? All right,
my grandma had one of those, but it was an Arthur toy.
Like the aardvark?
Yeah, Arthur the aardvark.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it wasn't that scary. Other than it was annoying because it had like one of those like noise making things inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you would be sleeping and if you slept on top of it, it would just start making the Arthur theme song. And you're like, fuck.
Oh, that's scary.
It's a stupid little thing. God damn it.
Yeah, my grandma just had a life-size stuffed clown with a 10-inch cock hanging out of it.
Oh, shit.
That I have to sleep next to.
Did she actually have a clown? I mean, I know the cock part is not real, but...
No, she does not have a 10-foot clown.
Oh, okay. That would be great if she did.
I would never go to my grandma's. Well, so overall Pieces, I love it. I recommend it. You're sold enough on it. So
yeah, I thought it was pretty, and I mean, I actually did like the ending of it, and like the reveal of the killer, because I expected it to be like the killer to be like a low life, like kind of serial killer, like that guy from Angst. I expected him to be like that, but like I thought it was unexpected and like nice that it was like someone in a place of power who is like a sadistic asshole. Because I feel like you don't see that, especially in movies like this, like exploitation. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. I would say if you're looking for just a nice horror movie to like zone out to, this is a good choice.
Yeah, that's most of these movies. Are really good. You just want to see some kills. You want to have a good time. You want to just see some weird shit. That's Pieces. So, all right. Thanks everyone for listening, and we'll see you next time.